You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Today, the subject is keep grinding until it clicks. Keep grinding until it clicks. You know what? I'm going to tell you the biggest thing out here. It's enough of a thing to take that entrepreneurial leap, that business leap, that career leap, anything. But what happens a lot, people don't talk about it as much. Everybody's always talking about start that business, start that business, start that business. But most businesses fail within a year. Most businesses fail. I know that, I'm acquainted with this guy who when I first met him, I got one of those clunker type of cars from one of those buy here, pay here places, right? It lasted for a little bit, but I ended up upgrading, right? And then, I don't know what happened, kind of moved out of that area, and then I saw him again in where I live now, and he had a yogurt shop, right? And, well, let's just say that yogurt shop is now a pretzel place, and he's no longer the owner. So, but that just goes to show. Now, he's probably doing something, but that just goes to show a lot of times just because you get into a business, it's never going to work, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm talking about now, about grinding until it clicks, sometimes you just have to stay with that business. You have to stay with that business because you get a lot of people, they jump in and they think they just going to start making money right away but it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Like if you're in a business that deals with customers, like say a retail type of business, you selling some type of product, first you got to get some people to buy the product and then they got to like the product to buy it again. And that takes a while. That takes a while. Like, I give an example where I get my shea butter from. And they a very good example now that I think about it, right? Because they would just when I first met them, they just had a table at this flea market. Just a regular table, right? And it's like I got it there. They just had a few products, right? Yeah, cut to a few years later, I go to their little spot now. And they got shea butter, they got oil, shampoos, everything. And they got like at one of those, if you notice, like at a lot of flea markets, they have like a little space that's more like a store space. So they got a store space now. And I think they have 2 locations. I think they do have 2 locations. But what they do, they kept grinding. They kept grinding. And I think they were, it's a family affair, West Africans. And I think the man at least has I think the man and the woman has a regular job. That's part of the reason why they only do stuff on weekends, right? But they're growing. You got to keep going with it. Whatever endeavor you're in, you got to keep growing with it because I've met so many talented people that get started and the stuff don't happen for them right away. Let me talk about my own story. First time I published a book was 1995. That's the first time I published something, right? But even then, I started writing in 1992, right? So, okay, from 1992 to 1995, it took me 3 years to publish something, and I published it myself, right? I had decided to start a publishing company, but to get it done. But I didn't waver that whole time. I stuck with it. And then from 95, I didn't have a true hit for a book. What I consider a true hit, like it's selling all over the world to Nice Guys and Players. That was 2001. So 6 years to have a true hit. That's a lot of grinding. That's like 9 years from the time I started writing to the time I get a bestseller. And even then, there's some people who still might go longer. And then there's some people who might not. And that's just in the writing business. Any business you in, you just gotta keep going. And there's going to be times it doesn't work out, right? Like I can give an example I used to always give. Buffalo wings, right? Buffalo wings. Like this guy, I always talked about this guy who started out delivering buffalo wings to different barbershops in the area. And then he eventually graduated to a restaurant and then a bigger one. And then he had 3 restaurants at one time. I don't know what he's doing now, right? But I don't know how long it took before he got to that point with the chicken. Because this dude was in his 40s. But whatever he did, he kept grinding. You got to keep going with stuff. Even with what I'm doing now, right? With what I'm doing now, when I started really getting back into writing, because there was a period I wasn't really writing. I was just working a regular standard job, right? I still had books out, but they were just selling at a trickle. Like maybe a couple books here and there, and some stuff I wasn't even getting money for, but that's another story, right? It took a while because when I started to get to this point where I'm having this conversation with you now, I had started out doing like a internet radio show, and I'm not sure how many people actually listened to that internet radio show, right? I'm not sure. And even then, I didn't really get I couldn't have gotten a big audience off of it, right? And then I got into writing blogs and everything, and you talking maybe a couple hundred views per blog, right? And then, got into videos, and I wasn't, it was slow at first. One, I wasn't making that many videos. I was making maybe 1 video a week. That was like a big deal to me. And then I started like gradually making more till I got to the point like every single day at this point now, every single day I have a video or a podcast that goes up every single day now, right? On different platforms. And even back then I started out with 1 platform trying to build it. Now I have several. I just had to keep grinding. People had to understand Rome wasn't built in a day. A business isn't built in a day. You're going to take some lumps. You're going to have to work. You're probably going to have to work part-time or even full-time until it clicks. But the thing is, you can't give up. That's one of the main things a lot of people do. It's like if it don't click right away, they give up. Or and that's not just in business, just in anything. Or I'll give you a great example. This is a known writer, Eric Jerome Dickey. Now this dude has written some comics. Prolific writer, right? I remember reading that dude said he got like 300 rejections before a publisher picked him up. 300. Most people ready to quit after like 5. This is the thing. He kept going though. He kept going, and as you grinding, you're not gonna win every single time. You're not gonna get all the customers. You might go a long time with 1 customer, right? You might go a long time when you might have to you might not get any customer, you might not provide any service or something. And then you have to build it up. And you got to be able to persevere. You sometimes, and the thing that keeps you going is you want to do this. Now, if you get into something half-ass and you're not really interested in it, you know what? Don't do it. But if it's your passion, this is what you want to do, click. You got to keep going. It is not going to happen automatically because, it takes a while. It takes a while to build. Even my book, Nice Guys and Players, it was about maybe 6 months before it really took off. It was hard sales before then. I had to really push it. But once it took off, boom, it was incredible. It was incredible. But the thing is, I kept grinding. And that's the important thing to remember. See, I see too many people, they give up right away. It's something they want to do, but it don't work. And all of a sudden, they end up into something else, and they're not following their real passion. If you got a passion, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. And I know some people say, hey, you got to go out here. You can't follow, just make that money. Let them do them, because it kills you when you can't follow your passion. And you have to keep going with it no matter what. When you have that passion, it makes it work. And you got to keep grinding to make it work. So just keep grinding until it clicks. So y'all know what to do. Let's go make that money.